Hi friends, welcome back to my craft table. I am so glad you're here with me today. It always just feels like we're crafting together when we do these lives. So one moment here, I'm just trying to get things going. Okay, so if we haven't met yet, I'm Rita from Rita's Paper Motif. It's your creative corner for card making, scrapbook layouts, and creative inspiration. So before we start or jump in today, and if you enjoy crafty inspiration, you're invited to follow me here on Facebook so you don't miss any future projects. You can also subscribe on YouTube, and I share new ideas every week on YouTube. And don't forget to visit me at my website, thepapermotif.com. It's my home base and the best place to stay current with everything I'm creating. All right, today we're going to dive into the Maze 2026 Paper Pumpkin Kit. I'm going to be sharing alternate cards and a scrapbook layout. I'll show you how I've mixed the supplies in the kit with items from my own inventory to make alternate cards. I'm also going to walk through a scrapbook layout that I created using parts of the kit. Then we're going to wrap today up with a fun fold card that uses some of the kit in a fresh way by adding to that something from my stash. I'm also going to be making a card for you, and it's using a new technique. At least that technique is new to me, and I'm going to show you a different way I use the stamp positioner, because I'll tell you what, the stamp positioner is a perfect helper for me. It helps me to get the placement as perfect as I can, and also some of those things that I like to stamp, it just provides the opportunity for me to get that stamp perfect. Okay, so grab your favorite drink. I'm having coffee. Let's settle in and get creative. And just before I open this and get started, I just want to say, if you're watching here live, say hi and tell me where you're watching from. And if you're catching up on the replay, type replay so I can come back and say hello to you. So let's go ahead and begin with what's inside here in the kit. So I know that I did a video on Monday where I unboxed this kit, but I just felt like compelled to kind of go through some things here. So in each paper pumpkin kit, if you're going to be doing some stamping, then you'll get a stamp set. So I'll just go ahead and show you. This is what the stamp set is. So these are all the items you find in that stamp set. And you also get your when you first subscribe to the Paper Pumpkin, you get this acrylic block. And so you can collect these and use them for all your future stamping endeavors. And if you subscribe to the Paper Pumpkin, so let's say you get a Paper Pumpkin once a month, and so in a year's time you would have 12 of these blocks. And then of course, if you get a kit from our kits collection, then every time it's a stamping project, you're going to get another one of these. So it's a great way to collect acrylic blocks. Or you can also visit our website, and there you can purchase the more ergonomic acrylic blocks if you want. And they come in all sizes and shapes. So you can see here's a bar one. I showed you the square one. We even have itty bitty tiny ones. But when you're first starting out, the best idea is to get a lot of practice so that when you do make your purchases, you know the kinds of things that you like. So anyway, this is what you get in your first kit, and then this is what you get in every stamping kit. Also, you'll get an ink spot. So these are 1x1s, as I shared before. It's a good way to collect your ink. This happens to be Misty Moonlight. And also tear and tape. We have several kinds of adhesives. And by adhesives, I mean that's where you adhere your layers and your ephemera and stuff down to your cards. So tear and tape is a double-sided tape, and it is very strong. I love to use it for my 3D projects because I know that they're going to hold together. But we also have our liquid glue. So that's also an adhesive that we have available. We also have our stamp and seal. So those are all options, whatever works for you. You know, we're all different, right? But you get this in your kit. And then also you get some dimensionals. These are small, mini dimensionals. And you have plenty to do your cards. If you want to do the cards like, I'm going to move this, like the instructions say. So that's the thing. You know, when I was first starting out, I would have loved to have these paper pumpkin kits because everything's in the kit that you need to make your cards. And the great thing also is that, you know, you get 3 designs and 3 of each, and you get the envelopes, and you just get everything. So it's like a good way to just practice what works for you because we all craft differently, right? But this is perfect, and it's very cost effective. So when I first started out, I started out in the kitchen table, and I'll tell you what, that's hard to craft when you have to you know, put everything away, take everything out. After a while, it gets to be a burden, but that's where we all start, and it's because we love crafting. We just go ahead and do it, right? So anyway, back to the dimensionals. I was getting off track there. So these are the mini dimensionals. I like to use them, and then I also have the regular dimensional, so you can kind of see how they're different, right? But these come in your kit. Our dimensionals are pretty cost effective, so if you choose to stock up on those, it's cost effective. And these are the little adhesive rhinestones that come in the kit. These are silver. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now in case I forget to tell you later. I did switch, because I like to use a lot of these, and when I first looked at the kit, I thought, oh no, that's not enough for me. So I did pull out my druzy embellishments. So if you have these, you can use them here. And that's kind of what I like to do when I'm doing these kits and I'm adding stuff for my inventory, is I like to add those things that maybe are retired or maybe I'm running low on, but just to kind of use them up so it's not a waste, right? Because we want to use up our materials. All right, so you'll find those in the kit. I'm going to leave the stamps out because obviously we're going to be using them. Now what I like to do is I like to substitute the small ink block for my regular ink pad. And then I like to save these so that when my customers order their paper pumpkin or they place an order, that I will often give these out as a gift. And that is just to help them, you know, build up their inventory. All right, so also in the kit we had these 3 different card bases for these 3 different cards. This is all I have left from what was in the kit, but here's a good kind of description of what I like to do. I'll get into it in a little more detail, but so this is a card. It's 8.5 by 11, scored at 4 1/4. What did I say? 8.5 by 11? Oh no, this is 8.5 by 5.5, and then it's scored at 4 1/4, which makes a perfect size card base. And so you can use them as they are. That's how they do in the directions. What I like to do is I like to cut them up because there were 3 of this design. There were 3 of this design. So when I cut them in half, I have 3 of these. So here's 2. I've used 1 other. So there's 3 cards right there. When I cut the 3 of these in half, now I have 6 cards, 6 layers for my cards. So that's how I look at it when I'm trying, trying to increase the number of cards or to use them in different ways. Many times I get more cards than what you get when you follow the instructions. But maybe there are some times that I follow the instructions just as they are, because maybe it's not something, maybe I don't have time to really be creative with them, and I want to get those cards out, and so I just do them as the directions say, and I'm always pleased with them. But here are the directions, so it doesn't matter what language you speak, you can follow them. So sometimes it's not in my, I don't want to create alternatives, I just want to use them as they are. You also get envelopes, and so, excuse me, gosh, I have a frog in my throat. Let's take a sip now here. So you get the 9 envelopes, but these are, I'm just going to tell you, these make beautiful designer series paper, and they're probably not, I just don't know that I would use them necessarily in the mail. So I have no problems in cutting out these envelopes. And then for my cards, I'll just switch out to the medium white envelopes that are available. All right, so this is, these are your instructions, as I said. On the back, you'll see what's in the kit, because there's a lot of punch out ephemera. So I just have a few sitting here. Now, I've used some of that up so you'll see, but here are some of those little lights, those little, oh, I knew I was going to forget. What are they called? Candelarios. They're the candles in the bags. And then there's some little, like light bulbs right here. And then some fireworks or sparklies. So there's more of these that, obviously, I'm just showing you examples that come in the kit that you can use on your cards. Now, please let me walk you through what I've created, and then we'll create that card. So one of the things I created was a scrapbook page. Now, I have the picture covered, and the reason I did that is I don't like to put my pictures out on social media without the permission of the person who is in the picture. And so I don't have that permission, but let's just talk about it. So this part here, these parts, are part of an envelope. So I showed you those envelopes. Those are just left over. Well, I don't want to say leftover, but those are envelopes. I've used all of this envelope that has the Coastal Cabana and the dark parts. So I've used those. I cut them in like diagonal, sort of an off shoot of a diagonal, and just put them on the bottom. Now, I did dig into my stash, and I found this cardstock that looked like brick. And the reason I brought the brick in, even though like it seems odd, is that this is a picture of my granddaughter. It's like a school picture, and you know how they always do those backdrops. In the backdrop, there is like a building that's got brick, like old brick. It's got a lot of patina in it. And there's a little bit of like the Coastal Cabana, and then the old kind of brick that's weathered. And so I brought in some brick designer series paper. I have no idea where I got this. I think it was part of a vintage package long time ago. This, I only had a small piece, which was just great for what I needed. So I put that in there to tie in with the brick, because there is, the brick is definitely part of the picture, but that's the only mention of brick. Now, on the other side of the picture is a window that you can see in, which ties in with this, the window part of this kit, right? And it's got the, like vintage, it's got the turquoise or Coastal Cabana grid on the window, and it's dark and behind the window. So I just felt that the Coastal Cabana was perfect for that, and it drew it out. So anyway, when I show you these scrapbook pages and you see these placement cards, You can get them when you order our scrapbook workshop kits, you get them. But if you run out, you can do what I do. I just cut up some white cardstock that has the measurements and I stock up. So two things. This helps me when I'm arranging on my scrapbook page to know where to figure out where the picture is going to go. So it gives me like a size, an idea of the size. And so this stamp, particular stamp, is from a stamp set that I got off of Amazon. So yeah, if you're interested in them, that's where I got it. But I make them ahead so I have them. But anyway, that's just covering up the picture that is layered on some Misty Moonlight and then some Coastal Cabana. I did the title, whoops, you can see that window, see? I did the title on Canva and then just cut it out. I also, you can see these little blue, I think that you can see them, these little like blue dots right here. And those are from, remember those stencils I showed you last week? Those are the, those are created by using this dotted stencil that came in that dual of the water and dotted line stencil package. And I just used the blending brushes and the Coastal Cabana to give it that little bit of interest or texture. So also I took and just stamped a little wordy bit here. This is using some of my, I dug into my stamp sets. So you may or may not have these stamp sets, but whatever your page is, you know, you would probably have some words that you can use, or you can also do them on Canva. But I use the Everyday Arches, which is retired, but you'll see it says Embrace the Journey. So I just stamped that on there and put that as a wordy bit. And then these are the fireworks that came in the paper pumpkin. And so they have like a straight edge, so that fits perfectly as they are. And this is kind of my cluster of embellishments. I didn't have to do a lot to them, so I felt like it was just made for that. And then you see I have two little tags. This came from mine, and I don't have it here to show you, but this came from one of my die sets. And so it's just perfect for a little tag. And so then I just put the twine in there. Now, this is for my journaling, and so I wanted to show you where I got that, because that is like, it is fast becoming one of my favorite die sets. So let me just get that out. So this is the Nestled Essentials. You can find it in our catalog. And so this is the bigger one. So that's perfect for that little kind of not so square strip for my sentiments. And then I took the stamp set, and on the stamp set you'll see these little they're like stars, like firework stars. And so I just put them with some Blackberry Bliss, because there's Blackberry Bliss in this. And I just put them on the corner to just kind of give them a little bit of decoration. And then this is, the white is layered on top of a piece of, let's see, this. So this is like a half of one of those cards. And so I cut that. So this might have been the second to the largest it was. I'm sorry, I told you wrong. This is, what did I do with it? So this, the white part is made with the second to the largest die, and then the blue is cut from the largest die. So, excuse me, so they fit perfectly. This heart, which I love, this is from a very, very old die set. When we would have campaigns like Celebration, we would be offered certain stamp sets or dies or designer series paper. So this stamp was one, and then later the dies became available. So this is that die, and I did do 2 of them and stacked them together to give it some stability. Now, if you don't have something like this, because there might be many of us that don't. This, like I said, this was a celebration a long time ago. You could use any heart die that you have if you wanted to get that same sort of look. And there are obviously some heart-shaped dies that are available, so you could do that. So that's how I did this scrapbook page. Now again, remember that you can go to the website, and in a couple of days, the measurements and everything will be on there. All right, so let's move on. Now I wanted to show you these cards. I'm going to bring out the pamphlet here, brochure, because I want to show you these cards related to that so you can see. Before I do that, though, I wanted to show you this one card that I haven't finished. So this is using that card base. What I did is I cut it in half like I said I would, or do. And so that's just placed on here. Follow the directions. I did this a little bit differently, and I'll tell you why. I made a boo-boo. I don't know why I'm mentioning my boo-boos, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. So I forgot to do these bushes on here till after I had already adhered this layer on the card base. And so I tried to stamp on it, but what happens is you don't get a level stamp, right? So you get some splotchiness, but that's okay, because to me it makes it just look a little more rough, and you can see that these are not solid either. So this is out of the it's Misty Moonlight that I stamped on here, but because it's yellow, a yellow base, it turns kind of greenish. And then these are part of those little embellishments that are in the kit. So these are the 2 smaller, no, these are the 2 medium size, and this is the smaller one, and then there's a larger one. You can see that one's larger. But in the directions, it has all 3 hanging from this lamp post, but I wanted to put one there, I don't know why, just to be different. And then there's the inside. Now I layered the white cardstock on an envelope. So I used the envelope for some DSP on the inside. And then this card front is layered onto some Blackberry Bliss, and then also onto the black. But I don't have a sentiment on there yet. I'm waiting to see what I'm going to put on there. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me show you some of the cards I made. Some of the cards, sorry about the plastic noise. I made some of the cards just like the how they were intended to be made. So here is one right here. So this comes in the kit, this whole panel with the window. And then you can punch out, because this is perforated, so you could punch out these little squares right here, and this does open. I'm trying not to open it, because once you open it, it kind of will, like, it doesn't lay perfectly again. But anyway, so I used the back of that card base. Let's see here. Of course, I put them away, right? This card base. So I cut it down, because obviously if you're going to use it as a layer, this half will be too big, right? So I cut it down. I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5, and then I used this panel that's a whole panel on there. And I didn't do anything to inside. You could put some more of these if you wanted to. Whoops, not that one. Some of these if you wanted to, or you don't have to. I didn't. And if you're watching, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to share with you and watch for who's watching. So I am very thankful for those that are watching. Just let me know by saying hello or something, and then I will come back and acknowledge you. So thank you for your time. Anyway, you can use one of these if you'd like to. I didn't. I just went ahead and used those druzy embellishments to decorate it. And then on the inside, this is the plain basic white cardstock. The base of this card is Blackberry Bliss. Now you could use white. I thought of that, and then I don't know why I didn't. I think I just felt like I wanted to use some more of that Blackberry Bliss because it's in the card. But this is where the basics of that came from. And so I also, and then this sentiment strip is also part of what comes in the kit. It is supposed to be like the base of the window, like the sill, window sill. And then the sentiment is in the stamp set. And then here's another one. You can see how when you bend these out, they don't always stay shut. I don't know why that bugs me. It just does. So here's another one. And then I just used a different stamp inside. So wishing you happiness from this stamp set. And then I used the Extraordinary Life stamp set. So here's that ampersand sign, and here's the good times. So what would that say? Wishing you happiness and good times. So that's how I made that. Just using some stamp sets from my stash. And then I used a different backdrop here, a different card base. So that is one of these. Because remember, I'm going to have 9 of these, so I have a lot of ways to use it. And so I just went ahead and put that on underneath this window frame. Now, and then I did Hooray. So this Hooray comes from a, let me show you. From this stamp set, the Fabulous Sayings. I believe this is retired. But you could put your own sentiment, whatever sentiment, or you can even use something from in here. And I also put these little things these little sprinkly stars, fireworks, whatever, I don't know what I would call them. Then I put 3 of those in under the window frame. Let's see if I can open it under the window frame. And this half of a firework comes in, I don't have any more, but this comes in the kit. So let's see, can we see it here? Oh yeah, see, it's right here. So that's what I used for that. And then this is a top folding or portrait style card. And then on the inside, I used the Happy Birthday from that same stamp set. And then I used these little stamps here, these little star or like firework stamps. I just used to stamp inside as well. All right, our basic white does come in regular cardstocking. It comes in thick. Normally when I use a basic white for a card base, I like to use the thick because it stands up. But if I'm doing a lot of layering, I might choose to use the regular basic white because we have to be careful with our postage, right? It's kind of expensive, and then you have a very heavy card with all those layers. All right, so there's, then we move on to this card front. So let's see, that is our card base. That is this one. So I'm going to show you some ways I use that. So the very first way I use that is, well, you see some here, and then let's see. This is as close to this card as I can get. What I did differently than this card is I used those fireworks. There's that half that I used here. I used these on there, but I also used some silver foil, and these are just strips of silver foil. They're like 1/4 inch strips, and it just brings out the silver. I've seen others use gold, so you could definitely do that. You could maybe even use some of these other colors here if you wanted. But I used the silver, and I just cut the strips and put it on there. And then, of course, this is the circles that come in the kit, and then I just used the stamp, Time to Celebrate, and stamped it in the Night of Navy, or the Misty Moonlight. Now, Time to Celebrate could be anything, right? It could be New Year's, it could be birthdays, it could be when somebody's done something great, it could be any of those, right? And I didn't put a message in here, but that is where it would live. So this is not, then this opens up like that. There is, the black part is just like a single card front for that. So that's that, close to that card. And then I did something else. I took, it's a basic white, and I ran it through my, an embossing folder, and ran it through my cut and emboss machine, which gives it all this texture. I didn't have anything that was close to a, to fireworks or stars, but this gives it texture, and there's some little, let's see, some little, like X's in there that maybe would resemble fireworks or stars. So that was pretty close. I don't remember what this is called. I do know it's retired, but any embossing folder you want to use, you could. And then I used those, the ephemera that comes in the kit, these little starbursts, and another one of those. And that's what I put on top of these rectangles. Now, the white embossed layer is sitting on some Misty Moonlight. Then these little panels that are 2 by 3, rectangles I should say, are laying on some Blackberry Bliss, and they're just catty corner to each other. And then of course this Happy New Year is a sentiment that comes from our mix and match sentiments and ephemera from the combo. And so these are great because when you're just looking for a sentiment and you're just kind of in a hurry or whatever, these are great because they come in white on black and black on white. There are 3 designs of the white on the black, 2 designs of the white on the black, and one of the white. Let's see, I got it all mixed up here. Let me try again. There are 2 different designs of the white, the black on the white, and there's 1 design of the white on the black. A total of 6 5x7 sheets of sentiment. So they cover everything. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day. So they're just really perfect for any time of the year. And so that's, and I used those druzy embellishments. And then on the inside, I just layered white on the Misty Moonlight and did that star effect again. I haven't put a message here, but I often don't put messages till I'm ready to mail them out because I want to make the message as personal as I can get. But here's another way that I just used other product. And then here is this birthday card that I made. So again, I embossed that white layer and I used my So Swirly embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. I use it all the time. So that is one thing I'll tell you. I like to keep current stuff, but if there's something I really want to create, I will sometimes dig into my stash. And with the kits, I definitely do, because that's a good time for me to use up or to use from my inventory. If it's just a class on a product that I'm featuring, then I try to stick to what is current. So if you wanted to recreate that exactly, then you could get your hands on the product. But here is that balloon card. Here's that birthday card. So I have the So Swirly embossing, and then these balloon shapes. We have a great happy birthday bundle in our catalog. So, you know, you should take a look. I will tell you that I used this from an old set of balloon dies. They were called the Beautiful Balloons. And I did use these different dies. And this is part of that card base. This is some Coastal Cabana cardstock. This is part of an envelope, and then another part of that card base. And then I just took some old twine. Actually, somebody gave me a bunch of twine, and I'm just using it up. So I have no idea where they got it. It was a gift. but it works okay here. And then many happy wishes on your birthday. That comes from one of my very favorite stamp sets called Thoughtful Octopus. And I just like that font, but many happy wishes on your birthday. So if you were creating a birthday card, you definitely have that balloon option here, and you could stamp it and then die cut it. You also have some other options here too. So this is a good set. And this is in our online exclusives. So I've said online exclusives, and I feel like I want to share that with you. So we have product that comes in our catalog. In our current catalog, this is good from May to August. So we have things in here. I don't, maybe that, oh, here's that birthday bundle I was telling you about. Let's see, I don't remember if it's, no, the octopus, I believe, is online exclusive. But we have online exclusives, and what that means is there isn't a catalog you can look at. You need to go online and look at the exclusives. But that's what I used here. And then these stars are some more of that. It's actually from a Christmas set that is retired. But I had, it was a collection. But I had these left over. Oh, I know it went with Peaceful Earth, I think. So I just use some of those on here along with those druzy embellishments. So, you know, that's something that you can use. And then you see this part that's on the inside, that's this die right here. I do want to tell you that I have used this die and made like a little rosette with it. So that's optional. So when you, some of these dies that are kind of odd, you know, it gives you an option to be creative. All right, so there's that. So that's all using that card base. Now, I want to show you something that is kind of a rage right now, and I did, I wish I would have done something a little different, and I'll share that with you, but I didn't really cut this part down as much as I should have, so it fits flush on this Blackberry Bliss card. So if you try to do this, well, you'll get the, I'll have the correct measurements in at the website. So so you want to cut these down is what you want to do. But I wanted to show you. Anyway, so this is 1-inch strips, and so the one is adhered straight to the card, the other is on dimensionals, straight to the card, dimensional, straight to the card. And what's great about this is it gives it like a shadow. So it's called the shadowed card. And then I use that lamp post from the ephemera or the punch outs that are in the kit, and then those little light bulbs. So you can see the different light bulbs on here, right? So these are the small ones. Here's the big one. You can see the size difference. And then I just used some gold ribbon on here. The reason I use the gold is there's a lot of yellow in there, and I did use the gold druzy buttons, but I have some of this beautiful gold stripped ribbon that also came in that Christmas collection. So I like to use up my ribbon, but I have to say that it takes me longer to use up my ribbon than other things. So anyway, this was an opportunity to use it. And to a fabulous friend, that also comes from this stamp set again. So you can see how I use different stamp sets, but this is all from this part of the card. So see, I should have cut it down. Anyway, that goes with this. And then finally, I'm going to move all of these because it's getting kind of cluttered here, but I want to end with this fun fold. So this is a Z fold. And this I used a part of this card base. So I didn't have like a full half. I think I had a half. Oh, this is part of, I used part of this when I did that, this card. So when I used this card, I had not a full panel here, not a full layer. So I had enough to do the front part of this Z fold. And then this is part of this is part of an envelope, I think. Yeah, this is part of an envelope. Now your envelopes are not as sturdy as your card bases, so I put it right in here where it wouldn't get, I thought, a lot of movement. But anyway, this is the card base, and I did layer it on some silver foil. But I want to tell you, in my craft room, the silver and gold foil, they're really an item that, hi Cecilia, that is treasured. And so I tried to be very frugal and thrifty with it. So what I did is I took that layer I was going to use, and I used my star dies. Remember I showed you those star dies? I think I showed you. So these are the star dies. So I used this little die, and I don't know where I got these. I think when I first started paper crafting, because I started out as a scrapbooker. This is one of the sets that I originally had. So I did just create some stars with the dies, some out of foil, some out of Blackberry Bliss, and then I just created the Z fold. So I did put a Blackberry Bliss star. You can see it in there. I'm not quite sure why I did that, because you really can't see it, right? But if you look down, I guess you can. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, this is basic white on another part of an envelope. If I were doing this over again, I don't believe I would use the Coastal Cabana. I don't know, I think I'd probably use some Blackberry Bliss maybe. And then I created this little sentiment. And that is using the Extraordinary Life dies. So this is the die that I used. And I really like that die because you can layer it on whatever and that shows through. So I like that. And this is the foil again. And these are those druzy dots. I didn't put a sentiment here. But when you do your sentiment, it needs to be here so that you don't see it when your card is closed, right? So I think that's why I didn't do a sentiment. I would probably just write a message right here so that when it's closed, that message is still kind of personal. All right, so this is a basic Z fold, very easy to make. Again, all of those measurements will be on the website. So now I want to create a card with you. I'm a little nervous, but let's go ahead and try doing it. So this is a new technique for me. I don't know if it's new for you, but it's definitely new to me, and I have heard it called two different things. I heard it called the shadow, let's see, when did I hear it? Was shadow tile technique. And then I was told that it was also a window pane quilt technique. So however you know it, this is that card, and we're going to make it today. And we're using that beautiful Illuminatio card base and some envelope material and a black cardstock. So let's go ahead and take out all the parts, and then we're going to do this. I've done a lot of the cutting and stuff already because I don't want this to be a super long video. But this is my card base, so it was 8.5 by 11. I put the 11-inch side at the top of my trimmer, cut it at 5.5, and then just rotated it and cut it at 4 1/4, which gives me my A2 size card. And then I'll take my bone folder, and you can see I think I got off a lot. So let's straighten this out because that's too big of a gap. Sometimes, I don't know what happened there. Let's see here. This will work. So your bone folder comes in great for helping you to reinforce those fold lines, score lines. So you could definitely use other things. I sometimes have used that spatula thing from my Cricut, or you can use the back of a butter knife, just a lot of things like that. All right, and you're also going to need, I'm going to kind of be working on this as we go, just so that parts aren't flying all over the place. So on the inside of our card, as you can see on this one, I just have the white, basic white. But on this card, I wanted to put some of the envelope on there. So we're going to glue these two together. So this measures 3 3/4 by 5. And this envelope is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And I know that you can see that fold line, but it's going to have this layered on it so you won't see it. All right, let's go ahead and put these together. Now, I am going to use my stamp and seal here, and I will stamp a message on the inside when I have figured out who I'm going to send this card to. But let's go ahead and place it on this envelope, and we want a equal margin all the way around. I say equal, but that's easier to say than to do, especially on video. Oh, okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and put it on the inside of the card. Now that part where the fold is, I am going to use it on the back because it'll be reinforced with these layers. One thing we have to remember is that crafters are not always 100% perfect. I think we're pretty close to it, but there's always a way to fix these things. All right, so there's the inside, so that's done. Now let's work on the outside. So we have, this is going to be, this is going to sit on top of this white layer right here. And this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and, you know what, I'm not going to put them on just yet because we're going to be doing some tiling work, right? So this is going to be where we're going to put those little squares on, and this is where, this is what I wanted to show you. So let me just get all of this out of here. I know it's kind of a weird way to store my stuff, but it all gets together. So this card is part of that Luminario card, right? So it was this size. And what I did was, I'm going to want it to be a 3 by 4 measurement. So, whoops, I have it upside down. So, I cut off the bottom because I didn't want to lose any of those illuminatios. So, that's why I did that. And so this, I cut that much off the side, and then this is what, about 3 inches? 2.5 inches off of the bottom. So we aren't going to need these parts, so I'm going to put them to the side. But we do need this. So this measures 3 by 4, and we're going to cut it up, and we're going to put it on this yellow layer. So I want to give you a little tip. What we're going to do is cut this up so we can layer them, and we're going to use them as tiles. So they are going to be 1 by 1 inch tiles. So if you're going to cut them, you're going to want to keep them in order so you know how to put them on here, right? So I'm going to show you my process. I got this tip from Rachel Tessman, but here's a good idea, is if you go on the back, you can measure 1 inch and then 1 inch, and you'll get all of the 12 squares that you're going to need for this card, and they'll already be in order. So you think, okay, Rita, 4 doesn't come before 3. I know that. But this is the right side, so we want it this way. So in order to get it right, when we turn it over, this right side is actually on the other side, the left side. So we start there with the numbers, and we're going to go ahead and cut it. So let me get my trimmer out, and we'll do that. And I use this 1 inch right here, but you know, you can use the inch on here if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it that way. Now, if my pencil mark isn't perfect, it isn't perfect, but I do want that 1 inch as close to perfect as I can get. And I am going to fit it up flush right here. And then I'll bring my blade down, which is the dark blade, and I'll just slice it. We'll put it here and then we'll come back. Because we have numbered those tiles, if things get mixed up, they get mixed up, but we won't be mixed up when we go to put them on there, right? So there's the next set. And then the last set. Now, if this is a problem, like it doesn't want to stay how you need it to stay, you could always use like a little sticky note. Just put it on here and then you can manipulate it that way, right? So let me make sure it's on 1 inch. It is. So we'll just put that there and that keeps it. All right, now we're going to take and we're going to cut 1 inch from here, right? Because we need these in 3 1 inch squares. So I'll just do that. And then this, again, you could use that sticky note if you need to. And you see that I can just do this without having to worry about keeping them in order because I have that number on the back. If that's too much work for you, then you're going to want to keep them in order. Okay, and here we go. So let me know if you have used this technique before. Just let me know in the comments section. You could use any designer series paper you want. You don't have to use this card kit. This paper pumpkin. And while we're talking paper pumpkin, I did want to let you know that I have some leftover parts that I'm going to be using solely to make cards for my customers that subscribe to the paper pumpkin. They subscribe through me to the paper pumpkin just to give them a separate idea. So if you subscribe to the paper pumpkin with me as your demonstrator, then that's one of the things I do. Now I'm going to take my stamp positioner because putting all of these tiles how I want them is, it's a little more, I mean, after a while you can get, you don't mean to, but you kind of things get off. So I'm going to use my stamp positioner. It has this great grid paper, so it's good for measurements if you need it. And it has these beautiful magnets. Now you can order extra magnets. I have some on order because I found that I think I might like to have some more. But they keep everything in place. And so you can use this as a stamp positioner. So when you put your stamps, you can like put them on your paper and position them. And then you just press down this plastic part here and it picks up your stamp, and then you're going to get the stamp right where you want it. But we're not stamping with this today. We're going to use this today to put all those tiles where I want them. So I'm going to put this up against these knobs, and I want it on a line in case it moves. I'll know where that is. So I want this left side to go along this 6-inch strip here. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there just to keep it. And then I cut out a little template. So I just cut out the middle part, and this is a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 rectangle. And then I cut 2 sides at 1/4 of an inch and 2 sides at 1/8 of an inch. And so what I'm going to start out doing is I'm going to put this like this. Lay it on my designer series paper. So let's see, just like that. So this is going to be a template for me. I want to get it straight there for me laying my tiles. So I'll use my there we go. I'll use my magnets to keep it in place. And see, I got off that 6" there. Okay. All right, so here we go with that. So we're going to take the black tiles that I cut, which are 1 by 1, and we're going to start out gluing those down. All right, so I have 12 of them, and this is kind of not super sturdy because I didn't use the thick basic white, so you want to really be kind of careful. But anyway, let's get going. So I'm going to use this, and I wanted to use my Stampin' Seal just in case I have to pick it up. So I'm going to use that. Let's see here. You could use liquid glue if you want to. And I'm going to butt this up. I still don't have this right. Oh, maybe I'm going to have to trim that yellow part. Okay, so we're going to butt this up against that template in the corners. We're going to do all the corners first. Okay. And one of the reasons I'm using this Stampin' Seal is because if I don't press it down, chances are I can lift it up because it's not super easy to see where you're placing these on video. So I have a camera between me and the paper. Okay, so we're going to now put the middle parts in here. So I'm going to move my, oh, actually I could just leave it here. So I'm going to move my magnets. And then we're going to, see, I need to, this is not completely straight now, which is why I'd like to get me some more magnets. There we go. When I place the magnet down, okay. This is only the second card I made using this technique, so we're going to try and put that, we're going to try and center it right in the middle, and I hope I am not, there we go. There we go. All right, and then the other on here. Okay, we're going to move our magnet back to the middle. And now we're going to do the sides. So let's see here. I'm going to put Stampin' Seal on both of these because I want to do both of them so that I can get them centered and they're up flush with that template. Not, okay. I did cut out some extras here because I was on a roll. So let's put these. I don't want to get my head in the. Whoops, this is way too far, isn't it? Okay. And oh, what was I thinking? I didn't have extras. These go in the middle. I was sounding kind of scatterbrained, wasn't I? So we're trying to get them where they go. Okay. Now, the trick is we're going to move. I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive on the back here so that my base won't move. I should have done that before. Okay, so we had this like this, right? Now we're going to switch it like this. Let's see. This is why maybe when you do this template, use thick basic white. Oh, I don't think I really changed it, did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Now we're going to take our 12 of that Luminatio. So we're going to look for number 1. Let's see. Okay, so number 1 is going to go right here. Right here like this. If this bugs you, you can erase the numbers when you get to this point. It doesn't bug me. And now we're going to put this a little off base. Not much, just a little. And I didn't. Okay, so we have just a little bit of a shadow. Doesn't have to be much. Something's wrong here. Wait just a second. No, it can't be. Okay. If this is something you're going to want to try, let me know. I like to see when you try your projects, just to share them with all of us. That's kind of fun to see. I'm going to bring this a little closer. I am having a hard time seeing. Okay, let's put the bottom part on now. So this is going to be 12. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 right here. 11. That wasn't very straight, Rita. 11. We're looking for 10. This one is upside down. So that's why I am using the Stampin' Seal and not pressing. I will go back and press on them so that they're more secure, but I just, if I make a mistake here, I still have that time to lift it and correct it. And you would have wiggle room with your liquid glue as well. But it does dry too. So does this if you press it. All right, so let's see, where are we? 5. And also when you put the numbers on there, you can also see what direction it goes to, because your numbers are right side up. Okay. And you can see on this one when I cut, so just some hints. So because we had that grid line, even though if we didn't get the pencil mark, at least we knew, at least we had a guideline, right? Okay. Okay, we're going to take this template off, and my template slipped. I just didn't want to, there we go. Okay, so there is our grid, and this is really, really helpful, but see how flimsy this is, so you really do want to do it out of the thick basic white. This is thick basic white, and it's not so flimsy as this. Okay, so now let's continue on. So we have our template. Now let's go ahead and adhere it. I'm going to move my stamp positioner. So these are brand new to our catalog. For a while, only if you got the starter kit could you get one of these, or if you were a demonstrator. But now they are available in the store, in our store. Also, if any of you are interested in becoming a demonstrator, you don't have to like do videos if you don't want. You don't have to do it as a business. You can just do it as a hobby and get all the great discounts. I would love to have you on my team. And you know what? I need to cut, oh shoot. I need to cut this a little bit because I noticed that I hate to do this when I've already got glue, got adhesive on it. I just want a little slice off. Let me see. Okay. So this white is just kind of a border. It's not a huge border. It's just to take a little to make this yellow pop. I don't know what what's going on with my eyeballs here today. Let's see. There we go. Oh. And then I'll come back and yeah, I need to bring this closer to me. I'm sorry. Here, let me do this without totally embarrassing myself. Now this is a good time to make any adjustments that you need to make. As you can see, this I'm having the hardest time doing this. Just a minute. It's real, folks. It's live. There's no edits here. There we go. Hallelujah. Okay. So you can get these all straight, and then you're just going to glue it on the front of your card. So I will go back after the live today, and I'm going to glue these probably with some liquid glue and make sure that they don't wiggle. So they still can wiggle. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment right on here. And I'm going to also put that on this part that we saved. I'm going to cut that out once I stamp on this. So we're doing best wishes. And let me find, that is part of the stamp set. Here we go. Part of the stamp set from the paper pumpkin. So I'm just going to go ahead and I don't know what my hand-eye coordination is a little goofy today. So let's see, where's my, I am going to use my Memento. Now I did want to tell you that we have a brand new black ink pen in case you're unaware. This is a hybrid black. It's Stampin' Up's own recipe. And the beauty of this is, I always have trouble opening these because I'm so used to manhandling the other. So you open it just like a book. This is a hybrid ink, and by hybrid I mean when you have your Memento, this is great for using your alcohol markers. But if you wanted to use watercolors or your water painters with ink, it's going to muddle if you use the Memento. So you need to use the StazOn. So Stampin' Up! Came up with their own recipe. This is, you can use this with your watercolors or your ink or your alcohol markers, whichever you want. If you want to keep using the Memento Black, you need to kind of stock up on it because it's going to be going away. And so I am going to get a piece of white cardstock because I want to practice this stamp. Oh, I thought I had best wishes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. I thought best wishes was on here. Guess not. I want to put best wishes. If not, we'll put time to celebrate. But it's not going to fit on here. So I don't know what I was thinking. So let's find something that will fit on here. And let me clean off that stamp. We are going to put, what do we want to put? How about just because? Let's put just because. I think that will fit. hope you guys had a great Memorial Day. I think if you're not in the U.S., maybe you don't celebrate that. So then I guess I'd say I hope you're having a great day. All right, here we go. And I am going to test it. I'm glad I tested it because it had some residual ink on that E. Okay, here we go. It's going to barely fit, barely. Okay, there is our stamp, and then we're going to get that out of the way. We're going to cut this strip here. So this is how I figure out my layers. So I'll just put my strip there. It's about 1 inch by 2.5. So I'll do a little over 1 inch, maybe 1 inch and 1/8. Yeah, 1 inch and 1/8. And I am picking the more orange. And then, what do we say? So then I'm going to do 3 inches here. And let's see how much bigger. So I can trim some of this, definitely. And I am so sorry, that is our garbage truck outside. Let's see here. And let's cut a little bit off here. So I think that's good. So then I'll just layer it on that and it'll go on there. But I don't want to put it on there because I need to fix all those squares. So I'm not going to put it on right at this point. But this is how it would look, and we made it together. This is the end result. And, oh, I know why I don't have this. This is one of those sentiments from the mix and match combo. So I'm using them up. So I probably don't even have another best wishes. But anyway, there's our card that we made today. I'll post it in the comment section so you can see it when it's finished because, well, I can put these together. That way I don't lose anything. So that's how that's going to fit, just like that. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video today because I really like to encourage you, number one, to subscribe to the Paper Pumpkin if you don't already. If you do, then all of us, we like once we do subscribe to the Paper Pumpkin if we're interested in doing alternatives. It's always great to get ideas from other people on how they might use the contents of the kit. But also know that you can change this up for any designer series paper you have. As you see, I used a lot of different stamp sets and dies. So to me, when I invest in my inventory, I like to be able to use it or it's a waste, right? So, all in all, thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of today's video. If you did, be sure to click that thumbs up button. And the ultimate compliment is for you to share this video. And remember that you can stop by the paper motif to get your measurements, and also to the pictures of the cards and stuff will be on there, so you'll know what measurements go with what. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you have a great day, and we'll see you again next week. Bye now.